We're back here in the studio on Channel 18 in the morning show, talking with Jimmie Lahrman, mayor of Winter Park. Jimmie, we're talking about a lot of transit, a lot of stuff. When I first moved here in 2003, we had a ski train that came up, and it was specifically brought people from Denver up and then took them down in the afternoon. What's going on there? Is there any future in that, you think, or is that kind of a dead idea?
Well, you know, that's something that a lot of generations, the last two generations, grew up on coming out of the Front Range. It was a big attraction.
A lot of older folks, came up. That's how they learned to ski when they were 5. They jumped that ski train. Their parents would stick them, not 5, but they'd stick them on when they were kids, and they could come up and.
Yep. Great amenity for our community out of the Front Range. Unfortunately, that went away a number of years ago. Anschutz sold that line, but it was brought back last year as a kind of a. Just a
75th anniversary celebration weekend kind of thing.
Exactly. A little bit of just to test the waters, can it be done? There's a couple of things standing in the way. Amtrak has to meet certain parameters to run that ski train. So Amtrak runs daily up and down the line, twice a day in our valley, east and west. But to run the ski train, they need and drop people off at the ski area. There's a few parameters that have to be met.
So that's what the holdup is.
That's a little bit.
A lot of people in town don't know. They just, why don't we have it? You know?
Yeah, the Union Pacific owns the rails, and they've dictated some of those parameters.
Okay.
So yeah.
And some of them have reason, they need a more organized platform and a train depot kind of thing.
Heated switches, some siding. Yeah, there's just a few. Yep, exactly.
And so we're hoping that there could be a little depot built in the resort in the next couple of years where we might see the ski train return.
Yes.
Our hope?
Yes, that's our hope. That's our hope. And those transit dollars aren't just for buses and trails. Transit is anything that moves people. So rail falls under that.
And back to our I-70 corridor, that would be incredible for a lot of our Denver second homeowners or skiers that could just avoid the roads altogether and not even have to worry about it.
So I think what we're seeing, Ryan, on this is that if we're able to move people out of the Front Range and into our community, we're seeing a lot of people invest in our community now. Mm-hmm. And that's really one of the key pieces, is to be able to get people to come up here and realize that there's opportunity here. And it's year-round opportunity.
Well, speaking of investing in our community, this kind of segues us right into some of the property sales and developments. There's a lot of big project going on right past Hernando's in Winter Park, our big pizza pub, one of our most stable restaurants. What's going on over there, do you know?
So that's called our Sitzmark North project.
Okay.
So we have a Sitzmark North and a Sitzmark South.
Who's Sitzmark?
Sitzmark was the name of the campground and little cabins that was there. So we took that name from Howard Baker. But basically it just identifies that area. But it was purchased by a development group, and they are going to build a community center there, and then possibly make some other improvements.
What do we mean by community center?
So a community center similar to like you would see in some other resort communities like Vail. They've got the Gerald Ford Theater, things like that.
Okay.
So you'd be able to throw a wedding there. You'd be able to do inside concerts. Just a kind of a gathering.
Brings more culture and some of our,
exactly. Things that we can't do outside in the park in the wintertime.
And we've seen some phenomenal growth back to 03. What do we do at night? Well, there's the bar, and there's a couple bands playing at the pub, and there's a lot of adult stuff, but our town's grown. We've got a beautiful rec center. We've got a bowling alley, movie theater. We've got a lot more things to do, and this should just be one more.
Yeah, this is another, when you think about it in our community, you hit it right on. I mean, we built a community rec center. Mm-hmm. And then here we've got a community center. It's called the Environmental and Conservation Community Center. And then you've got the Hideaway Park, which we're looking at putting in a permanent stage there. And then just down the road, a world-class skiers. So you've got 4 beautiful amenities in a 3-4 mile stretch for our community. So.
And our park and stage, that has been a wonderful draw all summer long, and even some winter weekends. Our Hideaway Park has blown up into a beautiful little mountain setting for a venue of music and beer fest and jazz festivals and all sorts of festivals. So. And
it's really been it's done its job. When initially we identified that piece of property to become a town park and a music venue, it was really because we were trying to generate business throughout the summer. So like you said, when you first came here, boy, everything seemed to really shut off in April and May, and the summer months were a little slower. So we truly have a second season now in the summertime. So the
we're
park
rocking.
has generated
every weekend there's something. It's
it's been really good for our businesses and good for our community.
So what's on? Did you say Sitzmark South, or what's the other?
So Sitzmark South.
This is all new information, isn't it?
No. This has been in the works for
a
number of years. Actually, the Sitzmark South property was another. Both of those properties went through a visioning session with the community, and the community identified some live-work units, a grocery store, some retail, things like that. And on the Sitzmark North, it was the community center and a hotel convention center. So those are some of the things that the town sat down with some of these developers, and we were able to get some plans in place, and we're hoping to see some deliverables in 2017.
Now, my understanding is we're not doubling up and putting another Safeway on the south side of Winter Park. Is that right? We're
No,
kind of
that's
going to
correct.
fill a different niche and go a different route.
Correct. We're not looking for a sea of blacktop.
Yep.
Yeah, that's not that was not the community's vision. Correct. I think they want that second
Keep
grocery
complementing
store.
and
Right.
filling needs and identifying more variety and more, It's exciting times in Winter Park. It really is. I mean, it's been a lot of fun to watch the growth, and most of it for the good. It's it's definitely.
Yeah, I think obviously there'll always be people out there who are looking for the no growth scenario. I think unfortunately, we need to keep moving and changing and recreating ourselves and staying competitive. And I think our leadership has done a really good job of identifying those opportunities and making them work.
And the majority of us are like me or you. We weren't born and raised here either. No. We fell in love with it. We love to share that love with more people, which means more people are coming to town. And
so you've got to manage that growth. I mean, I think we couldn't close the door behind us. Unfortunately, They didn't give us that option.
Yeah,
so,
right. Yeah.
You've got to realize it's coming, and I think the best way to do it is, as a local, understand what's important to you and what's important to your lifestyle, and then be able to manage that so that we can keep it.
Well, Jimmie, I can't thank you enough for being on the program. Thanks for taking the time out of your day.
Thanks for having me today, Ryan. I appreciate it.
And hope to have you back soon. Once again, Jimmie Lahrman, Mayor of Winter Park, and come check us out. Winter Park's booming right now. A lot of fun events, a lot of fun things going on. So we'll look forward to having you on again and talk more.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot, Jimmie. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be back shortly.